Eternal life is a free gift from God. Jesus died for you at Calvary. He is the way, the truth, the life, the door. If you believe in Him, you shall be saved, 'cause God's free gift to you is eternal life through Jesus Christ the Lord.
First Kings chapter 19, and I'm going to read from 19 to 21. So he departed, this is talking about Elijah. So he, that's Elijah, departed thence, and found Elijah, the son of Shaphat, who was ploughing with 12 yoke of oxen before him, and he with the 12. And Elijah passed by him, and cast his mantle upon him, and he left his oxen, and ran after Elijah, and said, Let me, I pray thee, kiss my father and my mother, and then I will follow thee. And he said unto him, Go back again, for what have I done to thee? And he returned back from him, and took a yoke of oxen, and slew them, and boiled the flesh with the instruments of the oxen, and gave unto the people, and they did eat. Then he rose, and went after Elijah, and ministered unto him. The title of the message I'm going to speak on today is Aiming Higher. Aiming higher. There are some questions that I want to ask, though I don't want you to answer me out loud, but I want you to think about these and answer them yourself. How far do you want to go? What are you doing to achieve it? And what price are you willing to pay to get there? So I'll repeat those three questions again. How far do you want to go? What are you doing to achieve it? And what are you willing to pay to get there? If I ask the question in many churches, how far do you want to go? The answer that I would normally expect to get is, all the way. That's good. But all the way where? All the way where do you want to go? You see, if you don't know where you are going, how will you know when you get there? I mean, it's good to get on a plane and arrive in Ghana. That would be wonderful. But if I was planning to go to Nigeria, it wouldn't be very good. So first of all, you've got to know where you want to go. So we need to have aims. Every one of us need to have an aim. And we need to set realistic aims. For you're never going to achieve something if you don't have an aim to begin with. When Emmanuel left Brentwood, he knew he had an aim. His aim was to get here. When he got here, he achieved his aim. If he had just got in his car, went for a drive, not knowing where he was going to go, he couldn't be successful. But you see, in order to be successful, you have to have an aim. So every one of us if you want to go higher, you need to know where you want to go higher, and you need to set realistic aims on what you want to achieve. You see, if you set unrealistic aims, you are never going to achieve them. So, let me give you an aim. Supposing I aim to be a doctor. Now I know that's probably about 4 years, you know, to be a doctor, something like that.
Yeah.
So I need to set an aim. So I know I've got to have 4 years of studying. Now I know that there are various courses that I have to do in those 4 years. And I know that there are several exams that I need to sit in those 4 years. So in order to achieve it, I need to know how much I want to achieve each week in studying. How much I want to achieve each month. And how much I want to achieve each year. In order to get to where I want to go. That is having a realistic aim. Now you can set unrealistic aims in the Christian faith. You can say, well, by this time next week, I'm going to read the whole Bible. That's an unrealistic aim. Because you ain't going to do it. Or if you do it, your mind won't, you'll just be reading, you won't be learning anything. So a more realistic aim would be to say, yeah, I'm going to read the Bible in a year. Now in order to do that, I'm going to need to achieve so many chapters per day. That is a realistic aim. An unrealistic aim say, well, I'm going to pray 24 hours a day for the next 7 days. No, that's unrealistic. I guess it can be done, it's a bit unrealistic. I mean, for one thing is you've got to sleep. So have realistic aims in what you want to achieve. So if I want to do an outreach next month, then I have to say, well, first of all, my aim is that I want to do an outreach next month. Now, what do I need to achieve it? Well, I need to get the leaflets done. But I need to get the leaflets done in time to get them handed out. Now, in the meeting, so I need to plan it all, have realistic aims. I meet a lot of people in the church that don't have any aims at all. They aim to get nowhere, and they generally get nowhere. They go nowhere. How many of you have ever heard this testimony? Well, thank God, 20 years ago I got saved. You see, the church that I was in, they used to have testimonies every week. People used to stand up and give testimonies, but there was nothing new in those testimonies. It's, well, thank God, 20 years ago he saved me. Thank God, 30 years ago he saved me. Well, that was a wonderful testimony. 30 years ago he saved you, but what has happened in your life since? What have you achieved? Or, better still, what has God achieved in you? Where have you gone in those 30 years? I mean, I could stand up and say, well, thank God that so many years ago I was born. I'm not going to say how many years ago it was, but many years ago I was born. Well, that's wonderful that I was born, but if I'm still a baby after all these years, and I haven't achieved anything, have I? And the problem is, friends, we've got people that have been in the church for years, and they're still babies. They've never grown. I thank God for salvation, but there are higher heights. And there are deeper depths that we need to go. Now, this message is not a salvation message. I am not talking about working for your salvation. This message is for the saints, not the ain'ts. It's for the Christians. In this message, we see a man, namely Elijah, that wanted more than mediocrity. Mediocrity means average.